let's get into our full spoiler. Where
The main event.
The main event. Weapons. Rich, are you coming in? Producer Rich, are you coming in this?
Yeah, I guess. If you want me to.
All right, yeah. Come in now because you saw the movie too, and I want to hear your thoughts.
But before we start talking, let's go around and say just if we liked it or not.
Yeah,
because sometimes we get so far into our explanation, it's hard for people to tell if we liked it or we didn't like it. You know what I mean? It? Would you like it? And recommend it, kind of deal.
Okay, so Weapons is the new horror movie from writer director Craig. No, Zach Cregger. Zach Cregger. It's about a classroom full of kids who disappear in the dead of night. The clues lead somewhere. The truth might be stranger than you want it to be. Maybe it's a little bit creepy at the end. Maybe what is the mystery? And that's what the whole. And does the movie have a payoff? Does it live up to the payoff and to that promise? Let's talk about it. Raymond, let's go with you. As someone who went to.
Is that a Barbarian poster behind you?
Oh yeah. I didn't realize.
Let's go with you as someone who's been anticipating this movie, and you went to like one of the early screenings of the film. Tell me about the screenings. It seems like people seem to like it at your screening.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And I'd say it was probably maybe 2/3 full, I guess. Mm. And it was the first IMAX showing on opening night. But I mean, I really like the movie, but I will say this, and I do recommend it. I'll say this. I think this is better than Barbarian, but I think Barbarian is a better horror movie. All right, I'll just say that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Can't argue with that, dude. That's a great, comparison. Pure horror.
I agree. I agree with you with that because it is much more of a. Well, I mean, I think the whole catch of this movie is that it's a mystery, and you're trying to figure out the mystery, and then eventually kind of reveals itself, and then I think it becomes less of a mystery and becomes more of like
a horror movie.
Well, these characters
becomes a horror movie in the final.
Yes, yeah, we'll talk about that. But Rich, tell me your thoughts because you seem to like it a lot.
Yeah, I enjoy Barbarian.
And you're not a horror fan.
No. So I enjoy Barbarian because and I kind of agree with you guys, but I did like Weapons a lot too. Unlike Barbarian, I thought Barbarian was steady, from thrilling a beginning, a really intense beginning, and then a great ending. This one, Weapons, was a slow burn all the way from the beginning, and then that I heard someone say that it was like a roller coaster ride, click, 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 and then at the end, once it starts going, boom, it's a great ride. But you got to go up that mountain first and enjoy the show.
I think I like the mountain the most.
So, but I like how the casting, the writing in it, and the characters. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just I felt the hometownish
a little bit of that Stephen King with the whole hometown.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and I like this Zach Cregger. I hope he turns out to be a real shine.
He's grown a lot since Miss March.
Oh, is that
his first movie?
All right, Angel, tell me your thoughts.
I did not like it. No. I really liked it, and I get it. I would say Barbarian was great. I'm not a huge fan, but I get it. Barbarian's full of a lot of tension, a lot of oh shit. This one, yeah, it's like you're it's a lot of build up. I think the characters weren't just great. They had so much substance to them. And the way they told the story was great because it wasn't like the span of the movie was not long. So the way they told the story was great. And it was very smart and stylized, but it wasn't just for the sake of it. It wasn't like, oh, like, okay, like I like Wes Anderson, you know what I mean? I like the Steve Zahn, I like that stuff, but sometimes it's just to be goofy or wacky, or it's just to do it. But this one I think was done very well, and I don't know why I love Brolin. I love the fact that he came back. I love No Country. I just like him. I like him as, and it's weird because like they have a lot of people that represent, like you'll see them in like the steak commercials, like Sam Elliott and stuff, like Americana, that kind of. And for me, that's him, dude. He's just, his face is rugged, but everything he does seems very realistic, and and I don't know, it's the part of the script, but the way he delivers lines, the way he reacts to other people in the movie, very genuine. And he's done that since fucking Goonies. You know what I mean? So he's really good. And I can't get enough of the chick, dude. Ever since Ozark, dude, this chick is so high up on my list. She basically can't. Yeah, she can't do any wrong. I like that hotel movie that she was in. I told you about, the one in Australia. She is amazing. And I mean, it's so funny because my son went to watch it, and his movie game is elevated. Because while I watch him watch it, he is seeing that movies can be done so many ways, and you can get so much more out of a movie by choosing different styles, and they can tell stories differently. And I just see it through him, and it's great because I think movies like this are going to make a not just a smarter watcher, but a more inept watcher, somebody that's going to pick up on cues, someone that's going to appreciate the way the story's told. Like, it's a great story overall, but he's going to see when the pieces come together and they all hit, like they hit like this. Like, that was it for me. It was just, the movie was great. I'd recommend it to everybody. I don't even think, if you're like, oh, like my daughter didn't want to see it because it was scary. I'm like, it wasn't scary. It's not a, she loves jump scare movies too, but it's not scary. It's creepy. Yeah, it's yeah, but yeah, it's all at once though. But it's just, yeah, but it wasn't for the sake of being gory. It wasn't like when we watched Dead Alive, where it's just they put a person into a lawnmower just to get that effect. But like, I think my mom would like it, but I think my daughter would like it. They'd appreciate a good story, and it felt very Stephen King, like Rich was saying. Yeah. Like it was one town. It was fucked because this happened in one town. Everybody knows each other. You can't get away from anybody. Everybody's involved just because it happened in this small of a like town. Everybody knows everybody, and the way they connect it was great. I really enjoyed this film. I'm glad I watched it in the theater. I'm glad. I would recommend people say, "Oh yeah, that looks cool. I'll check it out when it comes on video." I'd be like, "No, you should go see it, dude." While everybody's watching in the theaters, it was packed, and it was like a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
and everybody was in it. Everybody's watching it. The only bad part was, dude, there was a fucking baby. Somebody brought a goddamn baby to the movie. Mm-hmm. And you know how the movie starts and it's all dark? And that was the biggest complaint. People were trying to get their money back. They said it was too dark. And so now there's a warning when you go there. They write down it was made and filmed to be dark. You're not getting your money back. So, you know what I mean? That's the way it is. And fucking, we were sitting there, and all of a sudden we heard the baby. And I told my son, I'm like, I don't know if that's creepier that there's a baby. And it's like quiet, and the first narration's going, and all of a sudden the baby just started to cry. And I'm like, fuck me, dude. This is so it's so weird now that the baby's there. But then like maybe with 45 minutes left to go, somebody finally got sick of the baby. And someone's like, shut that fucking kid up.
Oh, damn.
And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. And then the lady just fucking said, you shut up, bitch. And I was like, damn. It's like, so it turned from a movie to like fight night. And then like the lady that got told to shut up, like her husband went up and got somebody. You know what I mean? And they came down and talked to the lady. But the whole time the baby wasn't bad. It's just, who brings a fucking child? Like
we're for a rated R movie. Yeah.
Like the kid movie, they were playing the stupid kid movie, that sketch or whatever. Fucking take his ass over there. Like but it's this new, like these parents, they didn't want to miss the movie. But I mean, it was creepy, kind of cool, creepy. But then the kid you could tell every time he cried, he got what he wanted. So they kept. But I mean, other than that, I would say go to the movies, dude. Definitely watch it in the theater. It's a good it's a good watch. Like when we watch Blair Witch, it's a good one to watch with a bunch of people because everybody's picking up on the vibes.
There's a lot of quiet moments in the movie where you could like, oh wow, either the audience is zoned in, or you could like you were saying, you could hear like the audience if they're gonna be noisy or not. And it is at some points that was like really dark too, which I guess is the reason why you gotta focus more, I guess.
So spoilers.
Wait. Let me just say really quick. Yeah, let me just say really quick my thoughts. I did like the movie a lot. I don't think I liked it a lot more than you guys, or I think less. Probably, I'm probably the one who likes it the least in this group. I liked Barbarian more. I think the more I think about the movie, the more I kind of have problems with it. I see the issues that I have with it. I think it's fine. It's an entertaining film, so it's hard for me to not recommend it because I think ultimately people will be entertained by it. And I have to admit myself, I was entertained with it, but I think because that mystery is so fucking awesome, like this classroom of kids, they're gone, their disappearance, they're what is it? Where did they go?
So is your problem the final chapter?
Yeah, the third act. And I think once we finally understand what happened, I think and it's not,
I agree. I agree.
I don't know. Yeah.
I agree, but I
don't think it was as satisfying that it could have been.
But we'll talk about this in spoilers, but when I read about the Zach Cregger's writing process for this movie, I kind of understood it more. I kind of it made more it made me more forgiving of it.
I've listened to a couple of interviews with Zach Cregger, and the more I hear about his personal story, this is actually a much more personal movie than you would think. This is made in the aftermath of him losing a really close friend, his best friend, co-creator of was it The Whitest Kids? His sketch comedy group and the show. Zach is very much like kind of Jordan Peele. Zach Cregger comes from a comedy background. He's a sketch comedian. Now he's doing horror. And I guess his friend who passed away in a freak accident, really, he fell off from the rooftop of his house or whatever, was the catalyst of him writing the script. And I think, and he said that when he was writing, he came up with the storyline, he came up with this mystery, and he didn't know how to solve it. And really until once he started writing the process of it, he came up with the third act. And I think it feels that way. It feels like this third act just comes out of nowhere. And so I think that's the problem I have. So
I agree with everything you're saying, but I just think that knowing that was the way that he wrote it, and seeing what we got out of it, I'm like, I can't really complain.
Part of me, I think I have to watch it again, see if I could overlook that and just kind of focus on the characters again.
I think I actually might go see it again this weekend. But yeah.
But before we go into the spoiler section, I just want to say this: Weapons is really a perfect example of how far an audience are willing to go with a director who is confident and self-assured of himself or where he's taking the storyline. I mean, even though I think he is he kind of admit that he kind of came up with the third act in the writing process, directing the film, he is he grabs your hand and he takes you on this ride. And Rich was saying, this is kind of like a roller coaster ride. He is in control. And I think because of that, it is engaging and it is interesting, and the characters are really fantastic. So as much as I hated, I mean, if that mystery wasn't so great, the missing kids, dead at night, are gone, what's going on? If it wasn't that strong,
and all the characters are just so great,
but if it wasn't that for that mystery being so strong, and I was hoping that it would peel itself like an onion. and eventually get to the answers, I think the resolution wasn't as something. I mean, it's really something that I came up had to reflect on when after watching it, because like my initial thoughts of walking out of that movie theater was like, oh, that's a pretty dark, grim horror movie, pretty dark subject matter, but I don't really have any strong feelings right now, and it's only when I'm kind of playing it back in my mind, I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I am let down by it. Let's get into the spoiler section. This is where we could talk freely about whatever. So if you haven't seen the movie, let me say this. I recommend it. I think there's so much great things about it too, direction wise. And my problems maybe just be the screenplay, but direction wise, I think this is one of the great, effort from Zach Cregger, and I think he is going to become a really fantastic filmmaker. He already is, I guess, with only two movies in. He is becoming, someone whose people are going to anticipate for the next film, his next film.
Now, before we go, can I ask you, please be a quick question?
Shall I mention Serialist again?
Do you think that Warner Brothers New Line is going to promote this film for Academy or Sinners?
Sinners.
I like
They're
this
too big.
way more personally, but
Sinners is.
I wish
came out of the gate. Yeah, I prefer this movie more than Sinners. I'm not a fan of Sinners.
I have so many problems with Sinners.
Because this movie is selling tickets left and right. It's still doing great during the week. I've been checking across the street, and it's. I mean, even the
word of mouth is still spreading.
All right, so let's now get into spoilers. And so you haven't seen the movie. We all recommend the film, even though I might have some problems with it, and I'll explain why. But I do recommend it, and I think it's a well-directed film, and I think people will have a great time watching it because I think it's such a proficiently skilled direction thriller and mystery, and I think I think that's why a lot of people are watching it. The record is breaking records. It's let me ask you this before we go into spoilers. Are you like shocked that it's making that much money? I mean, this is like kind of, after a summer of kind of disappointing numbers for Fantastic Four and Superman. Do you think this? You think audiences are more inclined to want these type of movies?
I think it's still too early to tell.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope, man. I mean, I hope, because really one of the things I kind of loved about this movie was that, to me, it wasn't really a horror movie. You know what I mean? It is a horror movie in the end, but this reminded me a lot of Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia. You're just watching you're just watching a bunch of characters make really bad decisions, and how it all kind of connects and stuff. I kind of want to see Zach Cregger do something that's not horror at all next. But I guess next is Resident Evil for him. But yeah. So I love that people are actually really enjoying this movie, and it actually really kind of disappoints me because I'm seeing a lot of people that are kind of hating on this movie. But all the people that are hating on this movie, they're like, oh, we needed to expand on the third act. We needed to expand on the final. And it's like, no, man. They're like, oh, start the movie off with Aunt Gladys and give us all her backstory. And now they're talking about making the Aunt Gladys prequel and all that. I'm like, no, you guys completely missed. Yeah. You missed the movie. For me, you missed what I loved about the movie, because once it gets to the horror stuff, it's not bad, but it just kind of turns into a generic Blumhouse movie in a way.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I mean, definitely now.
Yeah, I think it's still got that. It's got that word of mouth, and then I think it's got the the hesitant moviegoers that used to go all the time, going to the theaters because they want to hear it. They want to see it before the spoilers hit everywhere, or if it has.
No, they're everywhere, dude.
They're out. Yeah.
Well, it's not. Yeah. I mean,
that's why I had to go watch it
People are even the plate of hot dogs is even going viral.
Well, we're definitely now into spoiler territory, so let's really dive into some of the things. And you kind of mentioned,
I thought we were in spoilers.
no, it's fine. No, I was teasing it, but it's fine.
Oh, okay.
But you
only
didn't really
put the
give up that
spoiler
much.
warning?
Yeah, throw up a spoilers. Like I should have been up.
Do we have one?
No. Wait.
Is it the picture of the back of the guy? Spoiler. Big ol' wing.
No, I was just teasing the idea of like, is this going to be the new norm, or is this a sign that people want these type of stories now? That superhero genre, even though you guys, were fans of Fantastic Four, that maybe these are the ones that are connecting to the audiences better. These kind of not horror movies per se, but stories about normal people. I think that's what's so interesting about this film, particularly, that these people feel like they're living in right now. These are real characters that is in our world are dealing with things that are very much true.
But that's kind of the thing that I think is really interesting about this movie. Is because this movie is like really appealing to people that aren't horror fans, and I think it's because of like what you're saying. But what I was trying to say is that it seems like a lot of like the horror fans are kind of reacting the way I don't want them to react to this movie. Where they're like they want more of that third act. They want more and Gladys and stuff. And I'm like, that stuff was fine, but it's really not what made the movie special.
Yeah, I think it rides that line, and the ones that want more are gonna voice it, but then the ones that wouldn't be drawn in if there was more got to watch it and really enjoyed it. And me, I think it's kind of like if you're a fan of the main two actors and find out that it's getting good reviews, you're gonna go because Brolin and what's her face? They're so
Garner.
Yeah, Garner's so good, and you can see it through the trailers. And the teaser they have is that scene at the gas station, and that's so fucking gnarly, dude. That's just like that makes you like filled with questions, like what the fuck is going on? Like I thought it was like, can anybody else see this guy running? You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's like, holy shit. It's like It Follows, dude. I fucking love and hate It Follows. It Follows is like an old school, like what we would go watch, like independent kind of a movie. And then there's the horror twist, and it's just creepy as shit. And that's what I went in for, and I got a little more than that from this flick. But I was trying to tell my son, it's like weird because it's not jump scare, it's not fucking gore, like mostly it's not really gore. It's just a really good fucking story, and they give you enough of everything so that it's like a buffet that has really good shit. You don't just go there because one or two things were good, you know what I mean? This literally, like from beginning to end, it was really, really good. It's just it had everything that you would kind of want, and I like the fact that they didn't give too much backstory, because in real life you don't get a lot of information. You don't.
Yeah.
We're not that dumb. We don't have, not the dumb, but we don't have to be fed everything. We don't have to fucking know everything. It's like on Dusk Till Dawn. Like how at the end when they showed the pyramid and sorry, spoiler for Dusk Till Dawn. You know what I mean? You didn't need to fucking know any of that for the movie to happen. And then at the end, it was kind of like, hey, cool. Like, these Aztecs. You know what I mean? It's like they've been here for a bazillion years, whatever.
Man,
but I'm saying up until that
today, they would spoil that whole third act in the marketing.
Yeah. but I'm saying we didn't need that whole backstory before the movie happened. And it just happened, and also, boom, there it was. So that's the way I feel about that. The ant. We don't, because I've even seen like things where they're like, okay, when she uses what is it called? Consumption.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's supposed to be whatever, tuberculosis, whatever. It's like, it's an old word. It's like, okay, so now they're like, she's been around for 1,000 years.
Right.
Well, she's still her fucking aunt. But then you go back to where it's like, she doesn't remember how she's her aunt. She just knows she's her aunt kind of deal. Like, there wasn't like, hey, that's my mom's sister. It was like a distant aunt, and she's moving from family to family, kind of, hey, but she's been doing this for a while. But it doesn't have to be she's been doing it for 1,000 fucking years. You know what I mean? It could be she got sick in maybe she's an extra 30.
Well,
They have to be hundreds.
I think that's what Zach Cregger's intended. I mean, to just leave those loopholes to lets you fill in those blanks. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a lot like the red paint we saw it on the back of Brolin's truck, but he never admitted to it. I mean, but it's just assumption.
You know, he did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just assumption. I mean,
Nah, he did it.
yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
But no, I like that because some people want her to be fucking, you know what I mean? Like this is her first time on Earth, like this is her first round, and some people want her to be doing this for hundreds of years. You know, it's I like it. It leaves it ambiguous, open for interpretation, and we can fill it in for ourselves, however we want it to be in our head.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I love about stories like this, that you could have an open-ended ending, or even have an open-ended origin of a character, because you could like that's you putting your own creativity into the character in the story. You're participating in that way. And it's funny because like when Raymond was mentioning that there's this talk or this discussion in horror circles, I remember when Black Phone was coming out, and the people who didn't like that movie they were pissed off that they didn't know why the Black Phone was in his basement. They wanted to know a backstory. They wanted to know where did he got that that Black Phone, and where's the demon?
You don't need that though. It was so good.
Yeah, that
You
movie
didn't
doesn't
need to
need
know.
it.
Yeah. That movie was badass, by the way. I love that place.
And then it's the same thing with this movie. You don't need to have every detail, like we're saying, feed into, like to feed it to you by, kind of like the soup. You don't need that. You don't need that to make it better. Actually, I like that it's kind of having this participation thing. Now, my problem with the movie was it's more kind of that it veers out of the left field, that this witch idea that Aunt Gladys is a witch, even though I love the performance by Amy Madigan, who's anyone who's a fan of Field Dreams or Uncle Buck, I mean, to have her to come in and then just bat it, hit the ball out of the park. I mean, I think in a lot of ways, the third act reminded me, and building up to that third act, there was a lot more comedy in it. But I mean, and then people have been saying that it feels kind of like long
dark comedy, right? It feels like a dark comedy at times.
But it felt like Long Legs, or is it Long Legs? Yeah.
What? Really?
Because it's like it's Nicolas Cage's wacky kind of character. But I think Amy Madigan,
the character. I thought you meant the movie.
No. Well, that third act of when the witch comes out of nowhere and she's this weirdo, and she's having this makeup and this interaction with people. But I think because Amy Madigan is such a pro, and then it's not to say that Nicolas Cage is not a good actor. He's good, but
Nicolas Cage is like horrible.
Long Legs. Long Legs. Yeah. But I mean, but I think she did a much better, I don't know, performance than or delivers a much better a section, that section of that film. And I think it is kind of played up for comedy. I think it is supposed to be darkly weird and comedic.
Yeah.
Well, the whole movie has like a lot of dark humor throughout it. I mean, my favorite section of the movie, sadly, yes, the junkie and the cop. That's I've seen
that's the funniest part, right?
So many horror fans online are saying like, "Oh, just remove that whole section of the movie." I'm
like,
that's
the best part, man.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean that's what I'm saying. Like the negative reviews I'm seeing for this movie, I don't know what movie they saw that.
Like when he was just about to pat him down the first time, and he's like, "Hey, is there anything that's gonna stick me?" I watch a lot of like Vines and shit, and I'm like, they say that over and over again. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he got stuck and he hit that fool, I was like, "Keep kicking him, dude. You asked that guy." And my son's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Fucking AIDS, dude. These guys, they get these dirty needles. A cop has to reach in the pocket. They get it." And then they even did a callback to that later when he freaked out and got him in the face. But it was just like, it was funny because that set up that dynamic. Because without that first dynamic, when he goes to the precinct, he walks all the way in. You know what I mean? And then the whole SWAT team is there. Without that whole first interaction, But dude, that crackhead guy was fucking hilarious, dude. I just
It's such a
played
great
so good.
performance. It's such a great
so
performance. It's Austin Abrams,
Not
who's from
familiar with him at all.
he's from Euphoria. Another because Euphoria apparently is the breeding ground for a lot of great actors.
good.
But he was also
Yes, Sweeney, we know. Sweeney.
he was also just recently in Wolves, which is the George Clooney and Brad Pitt movie, and he was the third lead in that movie. And he's acting with a bunch of heavyweights, and he holds his ground. He's a great actor, but he's so skinny. He's unrecognizable. You wouldn't recognize because he lost so much weight for this part. And apparently, because of the Zach Cregger was shooting this movie, getting prepped. But the actor strike and the writer strike hit. So Austin Abrams had to keep that weight throughout the whole 6 months or whatever, that break.
Throughout the whole pandemic, when everyone's regaining weight, he was not allowed to eat.
No, but within that actor, the actor strike and the writer strike, that 6 month break that a lot of people couldn't work at, he had to keep that weight. So props to him, I guess. And I guess they like working together because he's going to be in the Resident Evil movie
franchise.
Yeah, he's going to star in it. So they love working together, I guess. But yeah, he's like the highlight of that you didn't see coming. I mean, he's the highlight of this. He's the breakout. Even though I love Amy Madigan. But I think Austin Abrams was maybe the breakout, and it's probably the funniest and most entertaining part of the movie. Even though it veers off into this weird kind of Pulp Fiction like storyline, plot.
But didn't you guys think the same thing as I did? Every time like they put Justine and it was her, like basically her angle, her story, her tie-in. It's when they did like the second teacher, I was like, oh shit. Like, this is going to go on forever. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to suck. It's just to draw more people. And so I was like, shit, this is going to suck. And I was like, holy shit, that was amazing. Like, that they told his side all the way through. Like, the guy got a bunch of string and tied it at one point and then pulled the string out and then spread them out. And then we started at the ends of the string and worked our way in. Mm-hmm. And when I saw the crackhead dude, I was like, dude, what the fuck? And then I'm like, oh shit, this is great. So I was on board. He could have went to Extra Kids or a Mailman, and I would have been like, fuck yeah, let's see this guy's version too. Because I thought, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's like, okay, it worked and it was cool and he's gonna go too far, but it was like it was everybody we needed. And I love the fact, and I told my son, I'm like, dude, it was crazy because I'm a dick when it comes to like anytime they redo stuff like on Pulp Fiction, it's like any motherfuckers or any one of you motherfuckers, like when they try to play it back and it doesn't match. So I was like, dude, I wonder if they had far out cameras and they were zoomed in and it was really the one take. But one was perspective of, the guy from Doctor Strange, the dude, Wong. Like one camera was following him, one camera, you know what I mean? So like they have like four crews.
Yeah.
But the consistency and the continuity was so good. I'm wondering if they had 4 film crews, you know what I mean? Like instead of setting it all up again, because it was so clean. And every time they did something, the characters reacted realistic, dude. Like when Brolin first had the dream, I won't talk about the dream, but when he woke up, everybody in the theater goes, fuck. And he's like, fuck. And I was like, perfect, dude. Like that's what you do.
That was a big laugh. That's a big laugh in the theater.
And then when she came out of the fucking the liquor store, the convenience store, after all that shit went down, and the guy yells at her to leave, is why don't you fucking help me? You know what I mean? It's like that's real, dude. Like in the movies, people, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, you fucking saw this guy trying to kill me, and you're gonna bitch at me because the store's fucking ruined, you know? It's just I like that reaction. I like that writing. I like the acting. Because a lot of times, I mean, I always tell my wife, I'm like, dude, it's weird because in movies, whenever they go somewhere, there's always front parking. In real life, there's not. Like they go to a restaurant, fucking 9:00, boom, they park right in the front. You know, they walk right in. There's always a table. No one ever goes to the bathroom. Nobody spills shit. I mean, it's the magic of movies. So when they do things that make me go like, hell yeah, like that's realistic. Like when Wong is after the girl and he crawls under the thing, and I'm like, okay, Brolin's gonna be like, hey, what are you doing? Stop. It's like, that's not the time to do that. You fucking kick that fool when he's down, and he ran up and he kicked him. I'm like, yes, this is real. This is how you would react. But you know what I mean? Because like a lot of movies, like, hey, let's talk about this or what's going on. Like you see somebody with blood on their face and let's sit down and talk this out. No, it's like, dude, this guy's like rabid. You know what I mean? You got to put him down like a dog. And that's what sold the movie for me while it was going on. It's an unrealistic. I don't want to say unrealistic. It's unrealistic events done realistically, and I think that's why I really liked it.
Oh, so now you like it.
No, he liked it. He liked it. I'm the one who hated not hated, but I had problems with the third act. I had problems with the witch aspect because
he likes the unknowns. He wanted it to be more. He didn't want.
I wanted to be
aliens fly away.
No, because the mystery.
He wanted to see a shadow, and then it's an alien.
Bigfoot comes and takes the kids.
No, well, I'll explain. Like, so the first, because like the movie is told, like we're like mentioning, it's told in multiple perspectives. Each character has its own kind of chapter, and so the first chapter is Julia Garner's Justine, the school teacher. And in the trailer, I thought, this is going to be a much more sympathetic character. She's going to be the scapegoat. She is in the beginning of the movie. And then, but once we kind of reveal who she is, she's a very self-destructive person. She sleeps around. She's a borderline alcoholic.
Homewrecker, dude.
Homewrecker. Yeah, so I'm like, oh, shit, this is not... I didn't think she's not this wallflower that I thought she was going to be in the, judging by the trailer. So I thought that was interesting. And then they cut to Josh Brolin's character, Archer, who is the father of one of the missing boys. And he is also a very similar, a self-destructive guy who needs to solve this puzzle, just like Justine's character. So I thought the parallel of these two lives was going to be more about how... how someone could fall for conspiracy, and how actually when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, is this going to be like Riders of Justice, that Danish film where Matt Nicholson was going to, he's playing in that movie, he plays a grieving father soldier who gets into a revenge plot because of a conspiracy theory that he is convinced that's what's happened. I thought that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, but it never came to fruition. It was.
Watch Eddington.
Actually, I will.
But it's funny you're talking about those two characters. But the funny thing to me, it was kind of like it felt like Justine, her whole life was kind of shitty and in shambles. Anyway, this kind of gave her something to focus on. And Brolin, opposite. He owned a construction company. He had a wife, and because this thing happened to him, everything was falling to shit. I mean, the way his wife was treating him, it was kind of like she was kind of coming more to grips with it and upset with him because he can't kind of move on. He wasn't ordering the right parts. His fucking company's falling apart. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like it was two different sides of like what the effect, I guess, of that story of the happening.
I think that's true. I mean, there's like two sides of the same
bully, right? His kid was the bully.
Yeah.
That was the best part, man.
The whole, but also he says in his part of the story that he didn't have. I mean, he's grieving because he said something about like I didn't spend enough time with my boy. I was too busy with the company. Yeah, and so I think that's the parallels. But I think eventually, once you get to like, Benedict Wong's character, who's the principal, and then so on and so forth, like it becomes less about the conspiracy aspect to it, and becomes much more about just this weird kind of happenstance between these intersecting lives. And it's very much like Magnolia, and I think that's what Craig has said that he was inspired by.
Oh, was he?
Did you scream at the TV and you scream at the screen and say you talk to the cops? Because whenever somebody's like that chick's putting some concoction together, like, did you have a chance to speak to the authorities? You know what I mean? No. It's like, dude, I told my son, if someone's fucking, you know what I mean? If you got dirt on somebody and they ask you if you tell the cops, you say, yeah, man. Because if you haven't told the cops, that means you're a loose end, bro. So I was screaming I was lit in the theater, dude. Like, why are you saying no, man? Why are you saying you didn't talk to the cops?
But yeah, that was cool because like it was like his nicety of being a principal and trying to like be this because like he reprimands the Julia Garner's Justine's character, the school teacher, and like it's him trying to present himself as this kind of authority figure, I guess, and but also not being very nice about it, and that niceness.
But it was the old man though that let her in. You know what I mean? He was kind of like, "Hey, this is unprofessional.
Yeah,
come see me on Monday or whatever."
She cut my hair, right? But there was a funny little bit. It was like he had a Mickey Mouse and he had a Minnie Mouse. Yeah, like matching shirts. I thought that was a light, nice, funny touch.
What was the deal with the hot dogs that Raymond was talking about? That there were 6 of them.
I read it.
That's a lot of hot dogs, man.
I read it. It's just a throwback to Craig's or Zach Cregger's friend who passed away. He wrote a bit in Whitest Kids We Know about hot dogs. It was like it was a famous bit.
Okay.
It was a bit. He was a doctor and he was overseeing a guy who was coming in and complains. And he goes, "How many hot dogs you eat?" And he goes, "I don't know, like 7 or whatever." And it was exactly the same number in that tray. So it's just him kind of doing a homage, yeah, a tribute to his best friend.
Cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's what I think. Knowing him a little bit about his personal story, I gotta watch this movie again, and because I think it just is a personal movie. I think it doesn't necessarily about the mystery itself. It is him. I'm talking about the director going through some grief.
That's why I'm kind of, after hearing these interviews, why I'm a bit more forgiving of it, because it also, like, the movie reminds me so much of Magnolia, and really, like, the third act of Magnolia, or like the
frogs,
the movie. It's the frogs, and it's like, you can make the argument that that's really stupid and it makes no sense, but I mean that's kind of how I look at the witch. It's just like
it's like a frog. It's like a weird random thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right, and I also have problems with Magnolia too, though.
A lot of people mention that the film is like a Brothers Grimm tale, so that's
interesting.
A little parable.
Yeah. So what do you think it's the through line? What's the subtext of this movie? I mean, I know a lot of people are projecting a lot of things. That people think this is a metaphor for school shooting. People are saying that this is about kids, our failure of giving kids a future, and they're like the true victims. I don't think that's true. I don't think this movie is anything close to that. I mean, maybe if that's the thing that you get out of it, great. But I think it's much more about trauma. It's about, I don't know, what's your feelings about what this movie is?
I think it's just like a classic Stephen King tale, and that's what's that's what's getting the audience to come out, because this is they're getting word of mouth that this is a classic. This will go down as one of the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what.
But there's definitely a lesson or some shit that's in there, some kind of a parable or something.
It's just like you said. It's I mean, just like we set up.
But do you think it's a metaphor for school shooting? No, I have no way.
Not really. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe school shootings at one point or something could have been some sort of influence, because I think he came up with this idea kind of like it must have been 2021, and around that time I think there was like a lot of school shootings, right?
Quite possibly,
yeah. So I think maybe it had something to do in like the inception of the movie, but I don't think that's necessarily what. I think it's kind of more what you were saying, Mike. I think, like, Zach said that, when he wrote this movie, it was kind of like a grieving process for him. And these were like every character was a different emotion that he was going through. Oh, so yeah. So I think
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this movie really is like kind of like that, and mixed with like what Richard was saying, kind of like a Stephen King thing. So yeah. And I think if that's what it is, I think he like 100% succeeded. And I'm more impressed that like you guys said that he said in an interview he was influenced by Magnolia, and he
was influenced by he was influenced by
vibe. He really that
yeah.
whole aesthetic and that whole like the feel of that movie, and that's impressive, man.
He said that Magnolia was one of it. He said Poltergeist. He said Needful Things, but just the trailer of Needful Things, not the movie itself, because I guess the movie didn't live up to the trailer because he saw that when he was young, and then the idea of this suburban town, it's kind of corrupted, and
also
has this aura. But he well, initially he didn't think it was Pulp Fiction, but a lot of people were saying it felt like Pulp Fiction. I thought
Just
I was
the way they cut it up.
Yeah. I got a lot of Pulp Fiction when I first saw it, and so especially
it's pulpy because it told the story differently, which was
just how the movie kind of comes back and goes into that one point, just kind of like when Pulp has the cafe scene.
Right.
But Pulp was pieces. This one was the same story, different perspectives. It's been done before. This was done really fucking well. But I think the underlying tone for the movie is that the children are the future. We have to teach them. No, but I think it maybe one of those kind of like cautionary tales type of deals, and you can't, almost like a surface value thing. I think that's why they got into Justine a little, how her character even before was kind of weirdly shitty. She was a school teacher, she was teaching her children, but her life was kind of fucking in shambles. The guy, he seems like he has it all, but I mean, when it came down to it, when they took his son, he didn't know his son was the bully. And you know what I mean? He realized he didn't spend enough time. So it's kind of like, maybe pay attention to things better that are around you. And
yeah, I think there's a little bit of that in there, and also being there for maybe prioritizing things better and not like focusing on one thing. And
but it was crazy, right? Because it was a small town, but when he went to the houses, they didn't know each other. The parents didn't. Like every time he had to introduce himself, but it's like it was a very small town, and it's like a one school town. So if your kid had 18 kids in his class, and you know what I mean, it's like, so if it's one, it's had to be one grade of fourth graders. You know what I mean? So they're first grade together, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth. So they're spending 6 years in elementary school together, and they don't, you know what I mean? They don't know, see them, they didn't recognize each other, and my kids in your class, maybe one of those kind of things too. It's a small town, but they're acting like they live miles apart and they have nothing in common, or I don't know.
No, well, the one thing I could maybe see as a through line of all the characters is that I think the movie is, and I think because what Zach Cregger was going through, he's going through this thing about the untimely death of his best friend. I think the movie is saying something about trauma and distress, and how we all kind of secretly are dealing with this in our private lives, but we can't let that out in our public life. And in a way, we're all kind of hurting in some way, especially nowadays. We're hurting, whatever, financially, personally, emotionally. But because we have to present ourselves in a way in our public face, and that public face is not kind of reflective behind closed doors. I think that's what the movie is. It's saying it's then say it's an allegory of school shootings or whatever. Front doors is like a kind of a major kind of visual cue, the doors open, close, and there's a dark hole inside of it. Every time a door opens, like the front doors of a house, and there's darkness in it. I think that's represents kind of an emptiness of the hidden emptiness of people's lives. So I think that's maybe the closest thing I got of what this movie is saying as a message.
Also, since Zach said that each character was a different emotion he was going through when grieving, maybe each character is a different lesson that you can take from the movie. And maybe that's something that people are drawing from, and people are getting so many different things from the movie, because there's you could kind of get something from every single character, except maybe the final one. I don't know. Maybe there's something there too, but I'm not sure.
The kid.
That's smart though. Everybody relates. Everybody's gonna like your film.
Let me just quickly just mention the kid because I think the kid was awesome.
Alex.
The one who survived, Alex. What was his the actor's name?
Carrie Christopher.
Carrie Christopher. I think he was really, really good for a child actor. He is the major part of the third act, and him have to like feed his parents with the soup. The victims have to have that weight of hiding, because he's still going to school. He has to deal with this witch aunt who's dying, but also all of a sudden has this powers of re-energized, living off the souls of the parents and the kids. I thought that's such a big ask for a kid actor, and I thought he was pretty decent for it.
He did great. And the thing that I was telling my son was like, I felt so bad because if it's like it's the naivety of the kid, and it's like when she told him, hey, I'm not getting enough juice out of your parents. Yeah. I need more. Bring something from all your friends, and he knows what's going on with his parents. You know what I mean? Yeah. But as a kid, he's like, and then you'll leave.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, oh yeah, then I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, all the shitty things she did, that was the worst fucking part for me, man. I'm like, bitch, now you're gonna take advantage of this poor little kid. He's gonna doom all his classmates because he wants you to leave. You know what I mean? You're playing off that.
The grossest emotions. The grossest thing of this movie. It's not that. It's not bashing someone's face to a bloody pulp. It's feeding somebody with cold soup. I don't think he warmed that soup up, right? I don't think he cooked that up, right? So he's just opened
technically you have to.
So he's just opened that can of soup and he's feeding this cold soup to kids and his kid. When I'm watching, I go, "Oh, that's so disgusting."
But it was so cute because at first,
what about at first diapers?
Oh yeah,
which one?
But you have to change diapers, right?
And wipe asses.
Oh shit! I didn't even put that together.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's got to be not that much because they're just on soup. But when he first when the lady first said, "Hey, you got to feed him soup," and he's got to do it himself, and he's trying to get the can open with the can opener, and it's pouring out on the floor like a little kid would do. But then he's smart enough that he went and he bought the Pop Tops, right?
Yeah,
I think when he came back, he had to pick that out. Yeah,
I got scared for him when he was trying to open that can. I'm like, man, he's gonna cut his hand open. They cut his hand in half.
And I think that's what I felt at the end of the movie because I think that's the saddest part of the movie, and that's the whole third act. I'm like, oh man, I don't feel great after watching this movie because I just went through that stuff. Even though at the end, I think
the narration sucked for him.
Yeah, but even at the end where he's supposed to have even at the end when you're supposed to have this kind of feel good moment where the kids kind of finally overtake the witch and they're chasing them over.
That part's so sad because when it's done, when you're done laughing, they say a few months later the kids are finally starting to talk again. I was like,
yeah, some of them are talking, but that's what they were saying. Like somebody still feeds his parents, but not him. He went to go live with another aunt.
Yeah, it's just like a downer of a film, man. I don't know how anyone could get a big laugh at the end of this movie. I was like, that's why I was walking. But yeah, that's what I think. When I was walking out this movie, I go, man, this is so bleak, and that's why it makes me think: is this kind of a catharsis for people, and people are feeling bleakness in their lives right now, and somehow they're watching this movie and they're getting some kind of catharsis of it.
But it could be his thing. It's life's gonna suck, but you gotta still go on. Yeah. It's still gonna happen. Shit's not gonna be the same. That could be a purposeful of him for the whole thing with his friend. That could be done purposely.
We mentioned Fargo. I'm sorry. We mentioned Magnolia. We mentioned Pulp Fiction.
Stephen King.
When I saw those kids chasing, and everyone was chasing into the neighborhood, I instantly got a Raising Arizona vibe. There's Coen Brothers.
28 days later, man.
Yeah, 28 days.
Oh,
later.
interesting. Oh,
Zombies.
okay.
Yeah, because the fast ones too, man. These kids,
But
these kids were track stars.
Well, just the thought of like murderous children made me think of the first Hostel movie.
Like when they caught up to her because she had to open doors, and these fools were just running through windows. It was awesome, dude. I dug it.
But even they were complaining. The residents, the neighbors were saying, "Oh my God, what the hell's going on?" That's Raising Arizona. No, I thought that was, or at least Ferris Bueller or something like that.
Very comedic. It's very comedic. I loved when Josh Brolin was following the kids, and the lady's just like, "What's this man doing in my house?"
Yeah, she
Point
like grabs her
Break
kids and pulled them.
Minority Report.
Point Break.
Well,
Point Break.
I thought that last shot was really smart. The far shot from behind, and they showed them behind the houses. Like, you know what I mean? It was almost like a Monty Python, Benny Hill kind of thing. Like, and everybody, you know what I mean? That I like that it was far and you can see all the kids. Because when it's super close, it's like you're in it, but it's like, okay, there's 3 kids or they're lagging kids, but then when you see it's like a horde just coming after that lady.
I feel like that was more than 17 kids.
Yeah, that was a lot of kids, man. And then I was reading something, and somebody said the first thing they did after they watched it was they changed their mind about being able to beat the shit out of like 17 fifth graders. Because he's like, nah, they're a force now.
You mentioned really quick. You mentioned about like kind of people want to see more of that backstory of the Gladys character, the witch character.
They're already making a prequel, right?
Yeah, there's rumors of. Yeah, there's development of maybe possibly a prequel or sequel where the Gladys character or another witch character will be this, part of it. I read something that was very interesting about Zach Cregger when he cast Amy Madigan. He told her, "You have 2 options here: that she could be an aunt of Alex, who is dying of cancer, because that's what is set up, who turned to black magic to save herself, or she could be a demon ghost character who is not a human at all, and is trying to convince other people she is human, hence the exaggerated costume and performance." And he goes to her, "Don't tell me, just play it whatever you want." And I to me it seems like it's the demonic creature, like, who's not human. I don't know, but maybe she is the aunt. I don't know, but
she's like, she's dabbling in both a little.
Well,
I love.
What about when
she appears in dreams? So
yeah,
but the crackhead saw her. She was a clown, right? It's not just me. She looked like a goddamn clown.
Exaggerated makeup in the force.
She looked like a clown. Yeah, like fucking It Pennywise type clown.
Yeah, it's definitely like a Pennywise character. And if that's the case, I don't know. Like I said, I gotta watch this again. Discussing this now, it makes me actually less down. Less. Yeah,
hateful.
I still have problems with it, but I think maybe maybe I have to wait and watch it again and maybe read a little bit more about what Zach Cregger was doing. But
did anybody notice how they tried to keep it trendy, where she was like an older white lady, but then she had braids? They were very spaced out, but I think she was going for cornrows, man. Didn't work.
That's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, she didn't look good in bangs, but I dug it because if she was straight bald, that shit didn't work at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they needed the hair. Yeah, she needed a little.
Well, in the basement, she's like full on zombie, right? Like that was great.
Zelda from Pet Sematary. Remember the sister? That's what it reminded me of, the way she moved and shit on the floor. Because Pet Sematary, the first one, scared the shit out of me, and when she had to go feed the crippled ant upstairs. What's the deal? Why did it have to be like a fucking gun in the dream? But it wasn't even just a straight gun. It's like it's a M4 fucking carbine. It's the real deal. It could have been a silhouette. It could have been the symbol from the cover, or you know what I mean? It was very specific, and I don't know if it's. I thought they were going to show somebody else, and they were going to see a different symbol. like the girl was gonna see like a Bob,
Something else.
or to be something different. And
There's also in
weird.
the end of the movie, there's that triangle symbol too that really.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be there.
I don't know if that means something, but
Might be Witch.
Yeah, that was
Movie,
wish
yeah.
stuff. That was wish
Okay.
stuff. But maybe the whole gun that Josh Brolin sees, I could maybe see people seeing that and then running with that conclusion of the school shootings.
Yeah, I think that was just to throw people off.
Because when they did show that earlier in the movie, I was like, oh, is this some type of school shooting type of movie? But then obviously as it goes on, I don't know, it's not. But when they first showed that, I did think that.
I didn't like it though, because it was so superposed.
Yeah.
It threw off the scene, the movie, and I know it's a dream, but fuck, I mean, it didn't play into the dream aspect. It could have been a fucking arrow, or it was just it might as well have been just a big ass bullet. You know what I mean? It was that weird to me, dude.
It needed to be more David Lynchy.
Yeah,
Needed
or not so hard lined.
It needed to just be a guy with a horse or something like that, wearing a cowboy hat.
or blended into the clouds a little, like in and out. This was like super over the top of it.
Your problem is much more of the visual aspect of it.
Yeah, the visual.
Pristine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Symbol, fine, but the fact that it looked like you put a sticker or cutout.
You know what? I didn't see it.
It did look like a music video visual or something like that.
Yeah, like
like
last second, let's throw something on there.
Yeah.
I don't know. My eyes are getting horrible. I didn't bring my glasses. It looked fine with me.
But and then it's like it had the counter for the time on there too. It's like
2:17.
Yeah. But then I heard the whole thing. There's 17 kids. There was the two adults, or the two ones left from the class, the mom and the kid, or the teacher, the 217.
Oh, what?
17 kids, and then the teacher and the little kid that did disappear. The two. So 2 and 17. But that's what I'm saying. People are running all over the place with this shit. And like after the premiere, people were running out of the theater with their arms down, and other people were screaming like they were getting freaked out. Dude, we would have totally done that if we watched that when we were in our teens. We would have just ran to our car like that just to scare people.
The 217. From what I read from Craig, or I keep on saying Craig, but it's Zach Cregger's, his best friend, who apparently he was an alcoholic, or he was drunk the night of his death. The story behind it was that he got up from his room, or got up from his house, got to the upstairs, and then he fell over. He fell over the balcony and died by head trauma, blunt force trauma. It was 2:30 according to the Wikipedia in the morning when he died. Maybe
around 2:30. Around 2:30.
So maybe 2:17 is the moment he got up from that, whatever he was doing, and got outside the house.
That's kind of eerie.
Maybe it's another reference. The idea that he is walking out of his house is also kind of connected to the kids walking out of their house. I think that's all connected. I think and again, it's just a kind of something he's going through. The writer director Zach Cregger. So I think,
and I thought it was cool the way they did the cameras, the Ring cameras, because everybody's got cameras every fucking where, dude.
Yeah.
So that was a great medium to use.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's why horror movies particularly are so good at capturing something, because it's the all kind of even like Together, even though I didn't see it, but it's set in the world not too dissimilar to us right now. These are real people that are kind of dealing with the same things, and you don't get that with superhero movies, or you don't get that with big IP movies. They're kind of escapism. With horror movies, they're kind of directly getting to what you're dealing with right now. So I don't know.
Let me ask you guys really quick. So in the end of the movie, we see the aunt control the cop when he comes to investigate the house, and I kind of wondered, like, do you think she was doing that more with more cops, and that's why they weren't investigating?
No.
Because my thing too was like they checked everybody's house.
Yeah.
So how didn't they go into the kid's house and go under But I think
they didn't investigate really.
no, yeah, and it's kind of like when they showed that one cop come in, they kind of just blew it off, like they were just going through the motions. They didn't look like they were. It looked like they were relying on the feds. Like every time the guy went to talk to the cop, he's like, "Hey, we got the same thing that the feds got." But it's like the feds were doing the same thing. We're following what the cops got. So it's kind of like one of those. Everybody thought somebody else was working harder, maybe, or some shit. But I get what you're saying. Why couldn't they? I mean, you can't hide 17 zombie kids in the fucking basement, and then the two parents would have been zombies when they showed up at the house.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to work. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good
Yep.
question.
Some holes in their face.
I mean,
They were
the
sick.
idea is that the idea that she says they're sick and they can't be in the public, and
so I think this is just kind of more like that's those are the problems you run into when you make the resolution of witch or whatever.
yeah.
I think though, for like the behind the scenes footage or like the extended cut, what they should do is have the kid feed the parents and then it come out of the cheeks. Anybody? No. That shit would be awesome, dude. Just like, but like ridiculous, like squirt hard and out. That'd be awesome, dude.
Another big laugh in the movie is when the crackhead zombie is fighting Josh Brolin, and won't die, and multiple times he starts screaming and gets up and won't, and like that's a big laugh. Another great bit. It's like, and to your credit, to Angel's pointing out, another gross thing that they did in the movie was the scraping the skin from the cop's skin with a peeler. Yeah.
Dude, but the best was Wong's demise, dude. Because that fool was chasing, then Brolin gets in the car and you follow, and then you just hear the skid, or you see just gets wiped out, and then the slow pan in. That was a great shot, dude. That was like on Smile. It was a nice slow, like don't just cut to the gore, just like fucking dolly into that shit. Perfect.
All right, I guess that's it for our spoiler review of Weapons. A really cool horror movie. And
now you like it.
I'm gonna.
We convinced.
I know. I said I definitely recommend it, and but I still think right now, I think Barbarian is for me a more entertaining movie. Although
that would not compare him.
Yeah,
but I get what you're saying. Yeah, one's horror fest, and like one is like one will grab you by the balls, and the other one just kind of keeps you like guessing. Or I think they're two different kinds of movies.